I really enjoyed my time in Vietnam, and I wanted to do a video that will help other travelers who are planning to visit Vietnam. In this video, I go over 9 things I wish I knew before traveling to Vietnam. Number 1 is cash is king. While you can use credit cards at bigger stores and hotels, you will need cash at most businesses, especially small restaurants, markets, street food vendors. Those will be exclusively cash. The currency in Vietnam is the Vietnamese dong, with Ho Chi Minh. And at the time of filming this, it was $1 US to about 25,400 Vietnamese dong. But definitely cash is, carry cash. Bring a credit card, of course, but you're gonna primarily be using the dong. Number 2 of the 9 things I wish I knew before traveling to Vietnam is just how modern Vietnam is. It's a lot more modern looking and feeling than I think a lot of people, including myself, were expecting. The big cities, like especially Ho Chi Minh City, have huge skyscrapers, big modern Western style shopping malls. Landmark 81, which was completed in 2018, is a super tall skyscraper with 81 floors. So while Vietnam is still considered a developing country, in certain areas where there's a lot of new development, you could easily mistake it for pretty much any other modern city in the world. Number 3 is Grab. So Grab, which is basically Southeast Asia's Uber, is a phenomenal tool to use in Vietnam for both hailing rides and food and grocery delivery. I found it to be super reliable, and the prices were phenomenal compared to what you would pay in a Western country anyways, where of course even a short ride in Canada or the States can be $10, $20 or more. Here, most Grab rides I took were $2 to $3, and the food delivery fee was around $1. They also have great coverage, so there's lots of drivers. So I'd say most times I waited under 5 minutes for the car to arrive. Sometimes it was like a minute or 2 or 3, and they had already showed up. They're also available at airports, which is really nice. So definitely download the Grab app before you come to Vietnam and set up an account. You'll be using it a lot. If you're looking for where to get a Grab, walk kind of right across the street from where you exit the arrivals, and there's this little tent set up. Number 4 is SIM cards at the airport. So this is something that I can't speak for all airports and all sellers, but what I learned while I was in Vietnam is that the SIM card sales at many, if not all, the airports are done by resellers. So they might have a Vitel or Vinaphone logo at their booth, but essentially they are just reselling the SIM card. So the main issue I can see with that is if you have a problem with your account or your SIM card, there's no way to get back into the airport to speak with them because it's in the arrivals area, basically behind closed doors before you exit into a public area, meaning you can't go back there. So especially if you're going to be in the country for a long time, I personally would strongly consider waiting until you get into the city and go directly to the mobile carrier office so that you have a point of contact if there is an issue with your service. Number 5, crossing the street. So crossing the street in Vietnam can be downright scary, especially if you're not used to it. So be very careful when crossing the street. I think the bigger the city, the more frightening and chaotic the traffic is going to be. In DaNang, it wasn't too bad at all, but in Ho Chi Minh City, especially in some of the more local areas I went outside of District 1, there were no crosswalks, or if they were basically ignored by the vehicles. And often there wasn't really traffic lights either, so you just had to walk into hundreds of motorcycles and hope that they didn't hit you. Number 6 is coffee. So coffee culture is huge in Vietnam. Their coffee is strong, and I found it to be amazing. It's probably my favorite. Actually, you know what? It's definitely my favorite coffee I've had anywhere. And the amount of cafes is actually mind-boggling. I feel like every second building, no matter where you are, seems to be a cafe or a coffee shop, and they're all busy too. It's crazy. If you enjoy their strong coffee, the bean is called Robusta, instead of what we see in North America is Arabica. Then buy a whole bunch of it when you're in Vietnam to bring with you when you're leaving, because I don't see the Vietnamese coffee for sale that much outside of Vietnam, and it really is phenomenal, especially if you like strong coffee. Number 7. So number 7 is English. So the amount of English spoken in Vietnam I found was fairly low. I didn't come across too many people that spoke much English other than in the really touristy areas. But I will say that the Vietnamese people are really good and willing to use Google Translate to tell you what they're trying to say, or vice versa. When I was trying to tell them something in English, they were definitely willing to speak into the Google Translate and really work with you to make sure that everyone is understood. I remember this super cool old Vietnamese lady was speaking right into the microphone on my phone, telling me things about her business, and it was spitting it out in English. She really knew how to use it. It was awesome. Really a good experience, and I bought a lot of freshly squeezed orange juice from her, which actually is a whole other topic. Is the fresh juices you can get there were just amazing. Actually, that reminds me of something else that really impressed me in Vietnam. Was everybody was super entrepreneurial, so everybody was trying to get a little business going, whatever that may be. I really liked it. Really driven, motivated, entrepreneurial folks. So number 8 is about Buddha statues. So I was told in Vietnam that it is offensive to stand with your back to a Buddha statue. So basically selfies in front of a Buddha statue with Buddha behind you would be a big no-no. It's recommended to walk backwards away from the Buddha statue if possible, but definitely do not stand with your back to a Buddha statue so that you can take selfies. That's a big faux pas. Number 9. So number 9 is kind of like two-part. So my number 9 really is to visit DaNang. I absolutely love DaNang, and I could stay there for a long time. I actually did a video that is on my channel called DaNang is the Jewel of Vietnam. So watch that video after you're done watching this one. So DaNang is just an amazing mix of beautiful beach and a nice sized city that has great infrastructure. So it's just a phenomenal place, I found. It's truly one of my favorite places I've ever been on this planet. So the 9th thing I wish I knew before traveling to Vietnam is how amazing DaNang is and how I could have spent much more time there. Now, actually, on that note, I also really enjoyed being in Vietnam in general as well. So it's a great place to travel. And number 9 on my list could have easily have been how amazing Vietnam is and how I could have spent much more time in Vietnam as a country. So number 9 is kind of 2 parts. I love DaNang, and I really loved Vietnam as well. I hope you get a chance to travel to Vietnam and this video helps you out with your planning. Please subscribe to my channel if you enjoyed the content, and we will see you next time. Peace.